Dave! Dave!
Dave!
Oh, fuck! Dodger, how'd you get in my house?
Don't worry about it.
Alright, whatever. What day is it?
It's the day.
Whoa!
Back in 1992, Yuji Horii, creator of the infamous Dragon Quest series which would go on to define the JRPG genre, and Hironobu Sakaguchi, creator of the Final Fantasy series which saved the then dying company Squaresoft, traveled to America together to research computer graphics. Also joining them was Dragon Ball Z creator Akira Toriyama. Why the three of them were traveling together, I have no idea. But somehow, mayhaps by destiny itself, their paths crossed, and they decided to work on a project together. A year later, development began on Chrono Trigger.
Which is what inspired me to build this baby. A working time machine.
You see, Chrono Trigger revolves around the protagonist Crono traveling through time to save the world with his friends Luca and Marl. As it veered away from Final Fantasy, the game was initially going to be released as a Seiken Densetsu, or Secret of Mana in the States, game, and had the working title Maru Island, or, roughly translated, Circle Island. Now that's a system-selling title.
And now, with the help of Dodger, we can finally travel through time and see what it's like to be Crono and Luca.
Oh, actually, if I could, I'd rather be Frog, or even maybe Ayla, because she's like super buff and...
Crono and Luca. But first, I think it's time for one more nostalgic blast of playing through Chrono Trigger.
Dave, that's like a 40-hour game. That's not gonna happen. We have stuff to do, so...
Onwards to Chrono Trigger!
Dave, we were supposed to do this today!
As Chrono Trigger takes place in 1000 AD, the game begins with your mom waking you up to go to the Millennial Fair to celebrate what else but the year 1000. So Chrono hops out of bed to celebrate in the same clothes he slept in, without showering or brushing his teeth. Gross. You take yourself and your mean musk downstairs where your mom explains that your friend, whose name she can't seem to remember, has a new invention at the Millennial Fair you should check out. You know, I never noticed it before, but I think you have a neglectful mother. You've literally had one friend in your entire life, and your mom can't seem to remember her name. Mom, her name is Zuzuzuz! How do you not remember this shit? After an unnecessarily stressful morning, you head into the Millennial Fair, a place bustling with people, several minigames, and accompanied by incredible music. As you explore the fair, you eventually bump into Marl. Literally. Attracted by your sweet musk, Marl tells you she'll follow you around wherever you go. So, you'll follow me anywhere, huh? And
that's it. Best game I ever played.
With Marl by your side, it's time to truly explore and have fun at the Millennial Fair. Here you can do a wide range of activities to gain silver points, which will allow you to go to Norstein Beckler's lab, where you use your points to win prizes like a live, living cat. Are you just dumping stray cats on people? You can also win a cloned doll of yourself, because that's not creepy or weird at all that Norstein Beckler has an exact replica of you. Dude? Have you been creeping out my window? There's also plenty of activities you can do just for fun. You can dance, laugh in the face of a little girl who's lost her cat, and try to sell Marl's precious family heirloom and pendant. See that man's food he has set aside? That's right, you can straight up eat his lunch right in front of his face! There's no need to drag me by the arm like some kidnapper. Whatever, Marl!
And stop it!
Eventually, it's time to head up to the main attraction of the fairground. Your friend, Zuzuz, or Luca for short, has invented a teleportation device. Marl, excited at the prospect of teleporting, steps up to try it out. When her family pendant reacts with the device, it busts down and a portal appears out of nowhere which Marl is sucked into. This strange portal could lead into anything. It could be a portal to hell, it could be a portal to the apocalypse, or it could be a portal to a mystical land of cake filled with cupcakes and ice cream. Which would be pretty awesome. But you're not that stupid to chase after her. So, thinking on your fond times together, you go to pick up her pendant, your only memory of... Wait, what's that music? Offer to save her? No! I just wanted to inspect the pendant! Shit! No! You're suddenly transported to a random mountainside where a bunch of blue imps attack you, immediately forcing you into battle. Here you'll learn Chrono Trigger's unique battle system. Chrono Trigger works differently than most RPGs of the time. Gone are the random battles of games like Final Fantasy. You can always see your enemies on screen while exploring, and many you can avoid if you choose to. The battle system itself makes enemy placement important. Enemies will walk around during the battle, and depending on how close to you they are, will have different attacks. You're also equipped with tech skills, these skills acting as both your magic and unique attacks to your characters. Several of these attacks rely on enemy placement, making timing out your attacks actually important in Chrono Trigger. Not only this, but Chrono Trigger had the unique dual and triple techs. These attacks utilize multiple characters to harm your enemies and are completely dependent on the character combination you've chosen. Eventually, you fight your way off of the mountain and discover you've transported to 600 AD, 400 years into the past. And not only this, but Marl's been mistaken for the missing Queen Lean, who it turns out is Marl's distant ancestor. In fact, you discover Marl is the current Princess Nadia of the Guardia Kingdom, who snuck out of the castle to enjoy the millennial fair. Oh, that's not good. It turns out, by mistaking Marl for Queen Lean, the soldiers stop searching for Marl's ancestor, meaning that Queen Lean's gonna die. And if she dies, Marl will no longer exist. Because, you know, that's how the whole sex thing works.
Whoa, this is heavy.
Fortunately for you, Luca, being the genius that she is, has figured out a way to make a gate key, allowing you to open up time travel gates and travel through time. She uses this to find you, and the two of you head off to find the real Queen Lean. The search leads you to a church, which has been taken over by monsters in disguise as nuns. The church is evil. Sexy evil. As you're unable to contend with the amount of sheer sexiness in the room, a rogue frog warrior leaps in to save you, and as he does, his incredible theme music starts blaring. And when I say incredible music, I mean some of video games' greatest music ever composed. Chrono Trigger's soundtrack was scored by newcomer Yasunori Mitsuda, and the music was so memorable that it's been remixed countless times, and even performed by the Tokyo Symphony Orchestra. As Mitsuda worked so passionately on the project, he ended up contracting stomach ulcers, and none other than Nobuo Uematsu, the famed composer of the Final Fantasy series music, stepped up. Using Mitsuda's notes, he was able to complete the final 10 tracks. So you have the creator of Dragon Quest, the creator of Final Fantasy, the man behind Dragon Ball Z, and the composer behind Final Fantasy's music all together on one project. That is insane. Going through the church, you'll eventually square off against the evil Yakra, who's impersonated the Chancellor, save Queen Lean, and save the true Chancellor, who suggests it's time to create a criminal justice system in the kingdom to do away with such fiends. Good idea, Chancellor. I like where your head's at. And the day is saved. You return back to 1000 AD and escort Marl back to Guardia Castle like a true gentleman, wrapping up the tale of Chrono Trigger. Wait. No? You're arrested by the new Chancellor on charges of kidnapping the Princess Marl and put on trial. I got this. The Chancellor's first witness is the little girl who lost her cat, who cries about us not helping her find it, saying you ignored me. What? I'm not gonna talk to some random little girl. He then brings up the man whose lunch we ate, and then somehow pulls a witness who saw us try to sell Marl's pendant. And there's no need to drag me by the arm like some kidnapper. I didn't know you were tracking everything I was doing.
Judgment time.
Guilty? No, guys, simmer down now, guys, come on. No! You're convicted with the penalty of solitary confinement pending execution in 3 days. So you do what any wrongly accused man would do. Murder all the innocent guards who are just doing their jobs in order to escape. Because for some reason you still have your sword in prison. Frankly, that's just what the guards get for being incompetent. Luca will eventually join you, and as you escape together, you'll run across the Dragon Tank, a crazy contraption built by the Chancellor that is no big deal because you're a total badass. This is how we do. After the fight, Marl joins you, and the three of you escape from the castle and guards by running into the nearby forest. Here you get completely surrounded, so you do the rational thing and jump into another random time gate, because anywhere's better than here. Oh. You end up traveling to a dystopian land which turns out to be the future, 2300 AD, and you finally reach the main plot point of the game. It turns out, in the year 1999, an enormous spiky monster emerged from the earth named Lavos, who went on to obliterate the entire world. While you're okay, that means all of your descendants are doomed to a fiery death. Thus, the quest to stop Lavos and save the world begins. You start by trying to find a portal back to 1000 AD, but blocking your path is Johnny and his gang of robots. In order to pass, you'll need to beat this undefeated daredevil in a race. Strap on your seatbelts, kiddos. This is about to get real. Now that was a close call. The gate to 1000 AD is blocked, but Luke is able to reprogram a robot, Robo, who becomes your ally and knows just the way to reach it, by heading into the nearby factory and meeting with his robot friends, who all claim he's malfunctioning for being friends with humans.
That's just sad.
Fortunately, despite receiving a pounding, Robo's successful and the four of you travel back to the past, where you end up at the end of time. Apparently, if 4 more people travel through a time gate at one time, they'll automatically end up here. What a convenient plot point to make it so your max party size can only be 3 people. It's at the end of time you meet a strange, knowledgeable old man who knows the lay of the land and will give you clues as to where to go next. You also meet Specchio, a strange creature who will teach your characters magic. You eventually learn Lavos was summoned in 600 AD, the same time period you had to rescue Marl, by an evil Magus named Magus. So it's time to travel back to 600 AD and collect Frog, the wielder of the legendary Masamune. Frog has a score to settle with Magus, who it turns out murdered his best friend Cyrus and then turned him into his current form of being a frog. Fueled by his hatred of Magus and the legendary Masamune, Frog steps up and cuts a fucking hole through a mountain. And with that, onwards to Magus. Who I always pronounced as Magus as a kid, so pronunciation? I don't know. When you finally meet Magus, he's in the midst of calling forth Lavos, and thus starts one of the most badass boss fights in all of gaming. Magus is a powerful opponent who will change his barrier as he's attacked, and his weakness will change based on this, so you'll need to strategize what attacks you use as opposed to blindly attacking him. He'll also eventually use dark matter on you, which is kinda like calling forth all of time and space to destroy you. With a vendetta against Magus, you'll eventually defeat him, although according to Magus, he didn't create Lavos but only summoned him, and Lavos has been living in the inner earth since ancient times, absorbing the land's power and growing ever stronger. Yeah, whatever, Magus. A massive time portal appears you're sucked into, which shoots you back to prehistoric times, 65 million BC. It's in 65 million BC you meet Ayla, a party member who's essentially your strength build of the game. In fact, that's part of what was so cool about Chrono Trigger. Despite it being an earlier game, it was actually fairly forward-thinking. While Marl is your designated healer, Luca has powerful attack magic, and Ayla breaks the mold by being the strongest fighter of the bunch using her bare fists. Upon meeting Ayla, she decides she likes Chrono and crew for being strong, so she invites you to a sweet prehistoric party. It turns out Lavos is an alien and crashed into the Earth during prehistoric times. He's then been sapping the Earth of its life energy, as Magus explained, and doesn't re-emerge until 1999 AD to destroy everything and send new Lavos babies out into the universe. This causes a new time gate to emerge, so you hop into it and transport to 12,000 BC and the home of Zeal, the floating city. Welcome to Zeal, where dreams come true, but at what price? I don't know. Zeal is apparently being supported by the dreams of the inhabitants who live there, who are known as the Enlightened Ones, and those lacking in magic have always lived beneath the clouds as the Earthbound Ones. Earthbound, you say? It turns out Zeal has a dark underside. The Enlightened Ones are using the Earthbound Ones as slaves who are constructing an ocean palace for them. In Zeal, you'll meet Janice and Scala. Janice will tell you, the black wind howls. One among you will shortly perish. Kid, not cool. You can also talk to Pozo dolls. What the fuck is going on? Am I going crazy? Am I dreaming right now? Is this a dream? Am I dreaming?
Hey! Snap out of it!
It didn't hurt. Zeal is named after Queen Zeal, who it turns out has been harnessing the power of Lavos through her mammon machine, and is the reason why the Enlightened Ones have their powers. Queen Zeal's children are the aforementioned Scala and Janice, who themselves have special powers. Furthermore, Zeal operated thanks to the 3 legendary gurus, Balthazar, Melchior, and Gasper, who've all gone missing. In talking with Scala, she begs you to find the gurus and save Zeal, as Lavos seems to be dangerous. You leave Zeal to find Balthazar, who you discover has been working on a time machine of his own. Strangely, you find him all the way in 2300 AD, where he somehow transported through time and developed the Wings of Time, or the Epic. For whatever reason, even though he's never met you, he entrusts this invention with you. Next, you return to Zeal to find Melchior, who's crafted the red knife that can destroy Lavos, and is held prisoner on the floating mountain Mount Woe. In order to save him, you destroy the protector of the mountain, Giga Gaia, and my bad, guys! Sorry! At this point, the Earthbound people have finished the Ocean Palace, and the Mammon Machine is inside. So, red knife in hand, it's time to travel deep underwater to the palace, which... Holy shit, this music is badass! Queen Zeal is forcing Scala, the most powerful of the group, to beckon Lavos using the power of the Mammon Machine. Otherwise, she'll kill Janice, the younger brother. So, you bust your way through the Ocean Palace and draw your red knife to destroy the Mammon Machine, which does absolutely nothing. And Lavos is beckoned, who immediately obliterates the shit out of you! Crono disintegrates! Your main hero is dead! In an epic twist, the Prophet reveals that he's actually Magus, come back from the future, and has been trying to summon Lavos in order to kill Lavos. Also, Magus is Janice, but from the future. But now, in the past. Oh. Queen Zeal has gone insane, and Scala uses the last of her powers to save everyone by transporting them out of Lavos' domain, except for Crono, who, might I reiterate, is dead? The 3 gurus and Janice are shot into the future. Meanwhile, Lavos shoots beams from the ocean, destroying everything, including the floating city of Zeal, which crashes to the earth, causing a massive tidal wave. And thus, the Black Omen is born. I mean, technically it's the Ocean Palace and just flying, but who asked you? At this point in the game, you can pretty much do whatever you want. There's a number of side quests available to you, including saving Crono, but that's just a side quest. Interestingly, this wasn't initially going to be possible in the game. Crono was intended to stay dead, and you were going to have to retrieve an earlier version of him. However, the Square higher-ups decided this was too depressing and ruled it out. And while you can now take on Lavos if you like, personally, I like to head into the Black Omen as it feels more complete towards the story, and you'll be able to gain more levels by doing so. As you traverse through the most difficult portion of the game, you'll eventually come into a room filled with clones of your characters. What the fuck? Why are there so many clones in this game? Is this Star Wars? Attack of the Clones or some shit? You'll eventually come head to head with Queen Zeal and the Mammon Machine, which is one of the more epic battles of the game. Like previous battles, her fight is more about strategy and choosing which portion of her to attack, as several of them have strong counterattacks and just aren't worth dealing with. If you defeat her, she'll die as she beckons Lavos. But I don't know if I feel totally satiated. Fortunately, the Black Omen exists in all eras as of 12,000 BC, and destroying a future version will actually still leave the past version intact. So if you're feeling particularly vindictive, you can murder the Queen of Zeal 3 times over, because sometimes murdering somebody 1 time simply isn't enough. When you do finally head to Lavos, Lavos comes at you with multiple forms. Its first being a boss rush mode, where it somehow adapts all the powers of the various bosses you fought throughout the game. Beating this, you'll bust through its shell and head into the inner Lavos, a cyborg uterus thing. Now this is the monster that's been destined to destroy the world. With badass music blaring, you finish off Lavos to find out there's yet another form, the Lavos core. The Lavos core sends you into hyperspace as you travel through time zones, duking it out and pondering the whole time about how this doofy-looking alien could have possibly caused this much trouble. But by once again being smart about how you attack Lavos, you'll prevail and finally stop the world from its inevitable doom. The king holds a final night at the fair in your honor, and Crono and Marl, if you choose to save him, finally get the chance to have a romantic evening at the fair together. One of the things that made Chrono Trigger unique was that Crono can stay dead, which will in turn change the ending you receive. Not only this, but the various side quests you choose to complete or not complete will also have minor effects on the ending. It was this that led to yet another revolutionary feature of Chrono Trigger, New Game Plus. Squaresoft found through playtesting that the beta testers were excited to replay the game due to the alternate outcomes, which caused them to create a New Game Plus mode, allowing players to replay the game at the same level at which they beat it. Doing this, they then added 10 more alternate endings, all based on when you decided to defeat Lavos, and how that would have affected the world, adding even more replayability to an RPG, a game type that's typically lacking in that factor. This replayability, combined with the excellent script, unique battle system, colorful graphics, and wondrous soundtrack all came together to create what would become my favorite game I've ever played. So, time to make like Crono and travel through time. Right, Dodger? We don't need her. Onwards to the future.
Dave, stop! It's not a time travel device! It's a teleportation device.